Hello. So today I want to offer another short practice, about 20 minutes or so. This isn't a restorative, this is a minimal stuff kind of practice. I have a sticky mat here, a yoga mat, but actually that's not necessary for today. I'm going to run through just a few poses to really take the spine through the movements that come naturally to it. So side bending, flexion and extension, and twisting. And mostly we'll be working on all fours. So as long as you're comfortable to be on all fours, then this practice is for you. We'll start just by laying down on our backs though, and settling. So what I'd like you to do is bring your feet onto the floor, knees are bent, and the arms, if you're comfortable to, are either out to the side of the head, so bending right angles at the elbows, or more or less right angles at the elbows, or if you're comfortable enough through the shoulders to take the arms up a little bit higher, then they can go higher. What we're looking for here is to be comfortable. First and foremost is comfort. If there's tightness, tension, pain in the shoulders, then you're not going to be able to settle. You're going to be too preoccupied with what's going on there. Let the eyes close. Let the skin around the jaw, the mouth, the nose soften. Relax the jaw, the throat. Maybe notice some lengthening through the back of the neck. Don't make this happen, okay? This is really important. When I'm talking about restorative yoga, when we're working in restorative poses, the golden rule is always to build the props, to support the body, never to make the body come down to the props. And when we're in our yoga practice, this regular yoga practice, the same sort of thing applies. We're not trying to make the body do a shape or do something. If we're blindly following instructions, we're not really practicing yoga with any quality or any intelligence. We're just forcing the body through a series of exercises. So the minute we come onto the mat, I want you to drop the need to perform, to do, to I'm trying to search for the word here. But to force the body, to grasp for some end result. Let that all go. And instead come into relationship with how you are right now in this moment. What's going on for you. So first we can have a physical sense of the body. We can feel where the feet are touching the mat, the floor. The pressure at the back of the pelvis, the head, the shoulders, the arms, perhaps the knuckles of the fingers. Softness through the belly, softness through the throat. Taking our attention further inwards. We have a sense of the breath. most likely feeling it in the belly as we're laying down and breathing, as opposed to in the upper chest. But there really is no right or wrong way to breathe here. So you're noticing what is. If you're not belly breathing, don't make yourself belly breathe. Just see what's alive in you right now. Cultivate a sense of inquiry, a curiosity that is soft, that is loving, that is tender. And direct it towards yourself. Moving deeper still. What is the quality of feeling within the body? Beyond the feel of muscle, of bones, of tissues. Behind the stir of emotions. As you drop further in, further down in your awareness. Can you touch into a sense of inner quiet, inner calm, inner peace? And I'm using these words because one might not resonate with you, but another will. A soft awareness, gentle attention. And as you connect into that, allow it to expand. Blossoming, blooming. Filling all the space within the body. So it reaches from the innermost parts of your being to the outermost edges of your skin. Those liminal spaces where the cells of the skin make the molecules of air. And then very gently bring one knee in towards the chest and then the other. And hug the knees. So you let the knees fall apart as much as possible. And if needs be for comfort, you can take the arms apart and bring the knees down to the sides of the belly. And you allow the weight of the arms to bring a little pressure to the knees. This may bring some rich sensations into the groins area and the creases at the tops of the thighs. You can explore those. And then relax the knees back down, or the feet back down to the floor, rather. And soften at the tops of the groins again. And then roll to the side, so knees can come down. Roll the body to the side. And come up from the side and onto all fours. So I want this quality of awareness that we've been working on to stay, to remain. And this is what we're going to work from as we begin to move. And the first thing I'd like you to do here is just really pay attention to the positioning of the hands. So they're underneath the shoulders as much as possible, so long as that's comfortable for the wrists. Fingers are spread, palms are settling down. So there's a gathering of attention, a gathering of awareness into the palms of the hands. And you feel contact across the knuckles from the base of the thumb round to the base of the little finger. Inner and outer palms. And you're not pushing through the arms at the moment, they're supported like pillars. You can let the shoulders rest on top of the heads of the arms, and the tops of the arms. And we're just going to play a little bit with this movement. We're going to let the weight collapse and the shoulders release down. And then we're going to push through the arms, so push the hands down and let the shoulders round up. And you can move from either extreme, so sinking the shoulders, pushing up through the shoulders, sinking the shoulders, pushing up. And then just soften that movement until you find a position where you're neither collapsing nor rounding away from the floor. And then I'd like you to turn your palms so that your fingers are facing towards the right, about 3 o'clock if it were a clock face, and 12 o'clock were your fingers pointing directly forwards. Now you're pointing the fingers to 3 o'clock. And just notice what's happening through the rest of the body. So the only instruction is to turn the hands, and the rest of the body stays soft. And bring your hands back to our starting position, fingers forwards, and then go to the other side. Turn the fingers round to the left. Probably should have done that way first so you could see what I was doing. And then back. Now the attention is through the back, through the spine, through the side of the body. And if you're not really feeling anything, you can take the hands a little further round, if that's comfortable. And it's likely that if there's nothing getting in the way, i.e. there's no tension, there's no holding, there's no tightness, but what's happening is the side waist is bending. The movement follows through. You extend on one side of the spine and flex on the other. So we're just moving from one side through to the other. Allowing the shoulders to move, allowing the spine to move, allowing the hips to move. if you're not experiencing this feeling of side bending, a stretch on one side, a collapse, if things are feeling tight, then be kind to yourself. Don't try and force anything. Just look at what's going on there. Move in a little bit closer to where there might be any holding, any gripping. And be loving towards it. Gentle. Now, the body's never the enemy. The mind can be, I think. But the body seldom is. Truly, really. Yeah. The way it is just the result of our habits, our patterns. Okay. And then just come back to centre. We're going to take a rest into child. So we're folding here. This is a big fold. You're folding at the knees, folding at the hips. You're extending through the fronts of the ankles. The head comes right down to the mat, if you can, comfortably. And you really let the head rest. Now, if the knees are tight, you might not bring the bottom down towards the heels. That's fine. Really let the head rest and the arms as much as possible. But if this pose is really uncomfortable for you, there are variations that you can take. You can side lie just to rest out. You can do this one that we were doing at the beginning of the class. Okay, so we're going to come back onto all fours now, however you are. And this time we're going to come back into side bending. So the hands come onto the floor, we plant the hands, we let that awareness move through the body. And we have a sense of where our left shoulder is in space, we have a sense of where the left hip is in space. And we move them a bit closer together. And then we have a sense of the right hip in space. And the right shoulder in space, and we move them closer together. So side bending, side flexion. And I want you to move from one side to the other. Noticing where the movement is easiest. So does the hip come up most freely? Does the shoulder come to meet the hip most freely? For most people, the hips have more movement than the shoulders. No, I think that might be opposite actually. For most people, the shoulders have more movement than the hips. But I tend to find that the hips move more. And my shoulders are the ones that are a bit more reluctant. That's because I tend to carry more tension around the shoulder area. So just noticing how it is for you. And also noticing. So something that can happen in this pose is that the head turns. And the turning of the head is involuntary. But it happens as you move. So that's putting flexion and a twist in. And we don't want that twist. So what you want to do is keep eyes down to the floor all the time. And if you find yourself staring at the wall on either side, or the floor just in front of you rather than directly underneath you, you're turning your head and you need to keep your eyes down. It's a tricky way, it really sneaks up. And can take quite a lot of practice to not do. It's a funny little habitual thing. I see lots and lots and lots. Okay, and then having another rest, either into child or one of the variations that I showed you. Okay, then back up. This time I'd like you to bring a twist into the spine, so we are going to turn the head this time. So slowly, slowly turning the head to the left, or this is my left, and then when you can't turn the head anymore, bring the left elbow down towards the floor. It doesn't have to touch the floor, it might do, but this arm, the right arm, is going to stay straight. And then we're going to reverse the movement. Turn the head to the other side. And drop the elbow when the head can't turn any further. So moving again between these two. Head turns first, elbow follows. And again, just noticing where that movement becomes sticky, or the mind gets busy. We lose that connection to our inner calm. Just do one more onto the other side. Back into child pose. Really allowing the shoulders, the head, the neck to release. Back up. Onto all fours again. If this is starting to make anyone's, if it's starting to make your wrists sore, then give it a rest for today. Take Shavasana, come and lay down on your mat and have a break. So, gradually wrists will get stronger and more willing and able. But it can take time, especially if you haven't done this for a while or these are new poses to you. This is new work to you. Be gentle and be kind to yourself, first and foremost. So planting the hands again. This time we're going to move between flexion and extension of the spine. And we're going to do it in this way. We're going to let the head relax down and look back through the knees towards the feet. So the knees are hip width apart. Toes are moving back behind you. And then we're going to take the gaze up further still towards the belly button. And we're going to keep taking the gaze up towards the belly button until we feel the pelvis start to dip. And the shoulders will likely round. And then we're going to reverse that movement. So we take the gaze back along the floor. And we lift the head and take the gaze to the horizon in front of us. So the space in front of us, not looking up towards the ceiling, but just in front of us. And then back again, between the two movements. Gaze follows down along the floor, up towards the belly button. And back. And as we're doing these poses, I'd like you to just ask yourself whether the hands, the position of the hands, the placement of the hands, is being maintained in a calm and peaceful way. And the support of the arms is being maintained in a calm and peaceful way. It's not getting busy, so the pressure will change in the hands, in the palms, as the movement changes. The body is changing. We're not holding the body rigid and just moving the head. We're just following the instruction of moving the head and letting the rest of the body move around it. But equally so, we want to keep this quality of calm, stillness, not getting too busy, not pushing into the arms, pushing down with the hands. And the movement is coming along the spine, almost like a wave along the spine, rather than being instigated by a lot of movement at the shoulders. By which I mean, forcing our shoulders up and collapsing the shoulders down, just as we were doing in the beginning of the class, which will give you the same result, but it's a sort of grosser movement, if you can see. So that's me pumping at the shoulders, basically, and then that's letting the movement originate from the head, from the very, very top of the spine to the very, very bottom of the spine to the tail. There's an altogether different quality to it. Okay, and then resting back. There's just one more thing that I'd like to do with you. I'm looking at the time now and I said 20 minutes. It's not 20 minutes. It's probably going to be more like 40 by the time we've got Shavasana in. I'm enjoying this too much, that's why. Okay, so let's just try something out for fun. Still again on the hands and knees to start with. If the shoulders or if the wrists in particular are getting at all growly, stop now, take Shavasana. So Shavasana is this pose. Turn me off and lay down for 10 minutes and come back and do it again in a day or two, as much as possible. And just build up slowly with this. It's it's a big ask on wrists that aren't used to this movement. But they will get used to it. They'll get stronger. Okay, so if you want to carry on, here we are, this is what we're going to do. We're going to walk the hands forwards about a palm's length. And then we're going to relax the hips down. And again, take the gaze towards the wall. We're not going to stay here, we're going to just reverse the movement. And come back, and you can even come towards child. And again. Just let the hips come forwards as far as is comfortable. So they might not come that far. As soon as if there's any pinching in the back, don't take the movement too far. Notice again the shoulders. So when we're in this pose, we're supportive. The arms can move with the shoulders, but I'm not pressing into the hands to move the shoulders. The movement's coming when I'm here from the knees, from the heads of the thighs. And the role of the arms is purely supportive, giving weight down through the arms. I'm not expecting them to sort of push or hold up. It's supportive. So when the hands are forwards and we're coming into this pose, that remains the same. And my tendency a little bit is to collapse into this pose because I have a very bendier back. But I don't want to do that either. And so just notice what happens if you are coming forwards a long way. Just notice if you start pushing through the shoulders and you get kind of tight around the collar and the heads of the shoulder, or if you collapse, the opposite, you get really loose. You can even play with that movement if your back's comfortable. Your spine allows, you can drop in and over, press, just to explore that and to sort of see if you can find that middle space. Okay, and then come back to all fours. Walk your hands back so that they're underneath the shoulders again. The wrists are underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Same thing applies to the arms. Still staying supportive. We're going to take the buttocks back towards the heels. Lean into the arms. Lean into the palms. Staying quiet. Sensitive. And then roll the heels back towards the floor just enough that the knees lift off the floor. Now then, there's more weight going down through the hands, but that's not pushing. I'm not pushing from the hands, that's pushing from the hands. And this is just letting the knees lift, the heels go back, and leaning into the hands, and there's a difference. There's a difference in the quality of feeling, and so we don't want to hover those knees up for too long. So just see if you can do it for, even if it's a second or two, and then relax back down. I do this lots, so it looks a lot easier than perhaps you're finding it right now. And then this time what we're going to do is roll the heels all the way down to the floor, and the knees will unfold. And the heels might not touch the floor, they might stay up a bit, just depending on how stretchy you are through the backs of the legs. The head really hangs. And then we roll the feet back up, we let the knees fold. And we come back onto all fours. So with as much attention and awareness as you bring to coming into down dog, you take to coming out of down dog. We'll just move 3 or 4 more times. Yeah. And as soon as you've had enough, resting into child. And if you haven't had enough, still resting into child now. And then rolling over onto your back. Taking the arms out to the sides, straightening the legs if you're comfortable. Straightening any wrinkles in your clothing. You're really getting comfy. And just dropping back into that sense of yourself, that inner quality of feeling. That loving awareness. Playful curiosity. You let your awareness move through the body. Expand through the body. You have a sense of the fingers, the palms. Simultaneously with a sense of the soles of the feet, the toes. Maybe a sense of the body is fluid, so that as tensions begin to drop away, you adjust. Perhaps the shoulders adjust a little, and the jaw inclines towards the chest. Don't make any of these things happen. Relax the throat. Notice if the neck lengthens. Soften the belly. Let the toes roll out. Soften the skin around the eyes, around the nose, around the jaw. If it works, if you're a visual person or you're drawn to visualizing right now here, let there be a sense of light through the body. Golden light. Moving through the body, suffusing the body, the skin. an awareness. There may be a feeling. There's not a visual sense. Maybe there's warmth or softness. Perhaps there's love, kindness, tenderness. There's a sense how this can move into the spaces just outside of the body, beyond the skin, beyond the clothes. So that you're cocooned in calm, soft, loving, radiant kindness. Then allow yourself to abide here. In this wonderful internal space that you've created for yourself. And then begin to bring some movement to the fingers, to the toes. Bring your feet onto the floor. When you're ready, without rushing, roll the legs to the side. Bring the body over to the side and lay comfortably for a moment or two on the side. And then very gently bring yourself up to sitting. Namaste. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that.